So Joaquin Buckley is fighting this weekend at UFC 307, and he's a good fighter. No hating on him, to be honest. But there's just one thing I can't stand is all these casuals and all these retards at the end of the day saying that Joaquin Buckley has so much aura. Joaquin Buckley this, he can be this. Like, I saw an Instagram post somebody posted. They said after his last fight against Ruzibuyev, saying, "Oh, like if there's a fighter that has aura now or who's gained aura, like who would you say has gained the most aura recently? Let me start." And that a picture of Joaquin Buckley. Bro, I started laughing my ass off because Joaquin Buckley, he's not a bad fighter. I'm not gonna say that he's complete dog shit, but he's not good. And his 4-fight winning streak is extremely overrated. And I'm gonna break it down. And there's no argument against it. So look at this. I'm not going to talk about his losses and his record before all of his losses, because his last loss is to Chris Curtis, which is already kind of a bad loss to have, but whatever, sure. It was up a weight class, sure. So he beats Andre Fialho. Welcome to the club, buddy. I can probably sleep him at this point. You know what I mean? It's Fialho. And that was already Fialho getting slept like 3 times in a row. Let me go back and double check. So when Buckley slept him, that was his third time getting knocked out in a row, and he hasn't won a fight. He's been getting slept ever since. Congratulations. You know what I mean? But sure, great knockout. You got him with the head kick. Great. Alex Morono. Bro, first of all, he didn't finish Alex Morono, which is already kind of sus. You know who Alex Morono lost to? Nico Price. Are you really going to rate that win? And it wasn't like he lost to Nico Price 5 years ago. Alex Morono, his last fight in June 1st of 2024, and he lost to Nico Price. Really? So we're just rating anything at this point, right? But a win is a win, right? Vicente Luque. This is the one that really got Buckley on the map. Bro, Vicente Luque, he's never been the most technical, but at least he had a great chin. He had like a granite chin that he would get hurt and kind of get dropped here and there, but he would always survive. But ever since that Jeff Neal fight, you can't say he's the same guy anymore. He doesn't have the heart in him anymore. He quit in that fight. It looked like a thrown fight. You know what I mean? It looked like it was a rigged fight just to get Joaquin to get some recognition of beating somebody that used to be a high-ranked welterweight. But in that fight, it wasn't like complete domination. It was sort of even. Joaquin was getting the better of the shots in the first and then the second round. And then what was Vicente Luque doing in the second round? He literally tried to take down and decided, yeah, I'm done. That's pretty much it. That's like, I count that as the same, like beating Vicente Luque now is like, I count it as the same as beating Nick Diaz at this point. Back in the day, they both were extremely good, but not anymore. Vicente Luque is not the same guy anymore since he got slept by Jeff Neal. But I mean, RDA, man, how bad is RDA? I just got to say that. He's got to be pretty shit to lose to Vicente Luque after the Jeff Neal fight. That's insane. Anyways, so that was a pretty bad one. And that's where everybody's rating Joaquin Buckley. And all of a sudden now he has infinite aura to these freaking Instagram retards. Anyways, continuing on. Ruzibuyev. I'm not even going to try to say his first name. Ruzibuyev has the most padded UFC record I have ever seen. You know, Khabib Nurmagomedov had a pretty padded record going into the UFC, and a lot of people called him out, especially when Guru made a video about it. And it's true, he had an extremely padded record. But Ruzibuyev, go and do this yourself. For my 3 viewers that are going to watch this, go look at Ruzibuyev's record. Look at this. I'm just going to call out a couple of them. So before he got into the UFC, the fight that got him into the UFC, he got a first-round submission over some guy named Pavel Masalski. You know what Pavel's record is? 0-4. Oh, what about the guy right before that? Luciano Contini. Oh, let's look at his record. 0-2. Wow, kind of crazy, right? Edward Arustumian. 0-1. Wow, crazy. Alexander Dolotenko. 1-6. You know, you can't really call these good fights. Alex de Paula, the next fight down. 0-4. Abrahima Main. Let's look at this record. 13-5, the first positive record. Bogdan Kultinianov, however you're going to say these names. 0-3. Maxim Soroka. 0-4. And the guy that beat him, look at this, Boris Morishkin, however you're gonna say his name is, he beat Ruziboyev via decision. 2-3, not even a positive record. What about the guy right before that? Let's see, 0-9. What about the guy before that? 0-1, the one that he had no contest against. 0-0, not a single win. The other guy to beat him before that was 12-2. Decent record. What about Oleg, whatever, Dadanov? His one win is against Ruziboyev, and he never fought again. And the guy before that, 0-2. What about the guy right before that? 1-4. So, and people are trying to say Ruziboyev has kind of a golden record before the UFC. I've even seen MMA Guru say this shit about Ruziboyev. You know, Ruziboyev has a pretty good record. It's not that bad of a loss, or it's a pretty good win. No, it's not. That's probably the lowest level win you can get. And the fact that Ruziboyev even beat anybody in the UFC is insane. That's insane. He's little dog shit. He's 6'5". I don't remember what his reach is, but it's pretty small of a reach for how tall he is, and it kind of just looks a little bit funky. But even then, he has long legs, and he doesn't know how to use them. When I was watching him fight Joaquin Buckley, I'm like, oh, congratulations to Buckley. You won the fight. Great. Hurt him in the third round. Clearly won the first and the second. Great fight by him. Cool. But it's not like he looked so good in this fight. He still kind of looked like himself, which is kind of like shit. And he's fighting this weekend. I'm not going to pick, what's his name? Who's he fighting? Thompson. I'm not going to pick Stephen Thompson to beat him, because I think Stephen Thompson is kind of just washed at this point. He's pretty old. He's like 41 or something like that. But I'm not going to sit here and rate that as like a high-level win. Stephen Thompson is not bad, but he obviously has a weakness, and that's wrestling. That's very obvious. I mean, if Joaquin Buckley decides to stand with him, congratulations to you. You're probably going to lose the fight. He's not that good. And his wins are extremely overrated. And you can't tell me otherwise. And just try to tell me that in the comments. Tell me, like, 2 good wins that he has. 2. There's not a single, I can name maybe 1 or 2, maybe good wins. He's just not good. He's extremely overrated. But saying that, he's probably still going to beat Steven this weekend. And everyone's going to say, you know, Joaquin Buckley, give him someone in the top 10. You could probably beat them. Sure.